Hi everyone, welcome to my next video. This is about the 5 C's of emotive communication. Well, often we see a lot of people when they talk without a personal connect with the other person. You might be logically strong, but if you cannot maintain a personal emotional rapport with the other person, your communication may not really cut ice. So in this presentation, we'll try to understand the 5 C's of communication, laden with a little of emotive touch. So let's look into them one by one. So the 5 C's of communication are a set of principles, communication principles that ensure effective and efficient communication between individuals or groups of individuals. These principles are crucial in various contexts, like including your personal conversations, your business interactions, your presentations, and even in written communication. Let's first see what these 5 C's actually stand for. The first C stands for clarity. The second one stands for conciseness. The third one for coherence. The fourth for consistency. And the fifth one for courtesy. Let me give a detailed explanation of each one of these along with examples to help you understand this a little better. Let's go one by one. The first one is clarity. Now first, let's understand what exactly I mean when I say clarity in communication. Clarity is conveying your message in clear and an understandable manner, avoiding confusion or ambiguity. So that's when you're said to be speaking with clarity. Now, when you're presenting a logically built argument, how do you ensure that you give it an emotional touch? So what does that mean? It means you have to express your thoughts and feelings clearly to avoid misunderstandings. So often we don't think that it's important to express our feelings while communicating with others. So that is what you need to ensure, that when you're speaking, you are also bringing across your feelings and your emotions when you're speaking, and not just the logical or the rational part of your argument. Second thing is to use empathetic language to ensure your message resonates with the listener's feelings. That's very important. Often we don't really understand what the listener wants or what are his priorities, needs, and then we communicate in a one-way traffic, which is not exactly what we're supposed to do. If you have a handle on the listener's feelings, then you can empathize with him and make sure that your presentation is more aligned with what exactly are his sensitivities and his sensibilities. So, for example, clearly conveying your excitement about a new project and how it aligns with the team's goals is an important part of being clear emotionally. A lot of people, blandly say that they agree with a certain project. But if you could add a tinge of excitement about getting into that project and then making sure that the project succeeds, you are adding that emotive touch. You can be more exuberant about that, add a little more of excitement and enthusiasm when you're presenting your concurrence with the project's report, and you want to go ahead with it. Okay, so that's clarity from an emotional perspective. Now let's go look at the second point, which is conciseness. Conciseness is expressing your message succinctly and avoiding unnecessary or redundant information. So often when we're making a presentation, we slip into a lot of redundancies and things that are really not needed because they don't add anything to the argument. So you have to ensure that when we are speaking to somebody, we are concise and speaking only what adds to the overall topic or the overall theme. Now, how can you bring the emotional touch to conciseness? Well, by being mindful, by sending out mindful messages. So what are mindful messages? Well, it's nothing but conveying your message succinctly while considering the emotional impact of what you're saying. Eliminate unnecessary details to keep the focus on the emotional essence of your message. Example, delivering a heartfelt thank you note for a colleague's support without overwhelming them with excessive words can be a good example of being concise and also emotionally mindful when sending out your message. The third important point is to coherence. Now, what does coherence refer to? Coherence refers to organizing your message logically, ensuring that ideas flow smoothly and are well connected. So this is extremely important. Often we end up with a presentation that starts from nowhere, moves to nowhere, and then ends up somewhere. Now that's not how it should be. There is a logical build up to a conclusion, which is extremely important. And if ideas are laid down in a systematic and a logically coherent way, they definitely make a strong impact on the listener. If not, they fizzle out and the argument may not really stand, the test of reason, and might really lead to nowhere. Let me give an example of this. Instead of jumping from a topic to topic, let's say regarding the marketing strategy, I want to say this, and then, okay, by the way, I want to say this, and then say something else. Now, this is, randomly trying to put points across which do not, make any sense to the listener. Instead of saying that, you could really organize your thoughts in a systematic, coherent, and logical fashion, and make sure you're building up your argument systematically from point 1 to point 2, 3, 4, and 5. Eventually, delivering the punch that you want to deliver. The fourth point is consistency involves maintaining a uniform tone, style, and message throughout your communication. So if you want to make a formal request, make sure it's formal at the beginning, in the middle, and in the end of your conversation. Do not start in a formal way and then slip into informal or semi-formal and then lose out, the coherence in the middle. Similarly, this is all the more true when you're writing an email or some documents. If you're started with a formal tone, make sure that the entire email is in a formal way and ends in a formal way. That is coherence. Similarly, your style and your messaging must also be consistent. Next one is courtesy. Well, courtesy refers to being respectful, considerate, and mindful of the feelings and perspectives of the other person with whom you are interacting. So instead of saying, you didn't follow the instructions, do it again, that's a little uncourteous, polite, and rather harsh way of saying things. You could instead say, I noticed a few areas that might need adjustment according to the instructions given to us. Could you please be kind enough to review and make necessary changes to the report? Now, that's a more courteous way of putting things across. So I think these are the 5 C's of communication, and especially these will be very powerful when you can give them an emotional tempering and then present your ideas in a way that is logical, sequential, and most importantly, coherent. So next time you want to make a communication, make sure you're ensuring all the 5s are intact and you're making a powerful communication. Thank you very much. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I request you to kindly subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button, and also like the presentation if you liked it. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.